Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Welcome back to Harry's Highlights. On this video, we're going to talk about the book The Alchemist. Now this is an interesting book. This is all about understanding basically how the law of attraction and how it works and how we're basically on a journey to be able to achieve our full potential in anything we want to do and about realizing our personal legend. It's another way to explain is really about how the universe will always work with you if you allow it to. There's a saying in the book, it talks about that when we want something, the universe will conspire together for us to achieve it. So it's about understanding that anything that we want in life, if we decide that we're going to work towards it, we decide that it's something that we want to achieve, the universe will stand out of our way to make it happen. So some of the philosophies I want to talk about in this one is one of them is like, there's a lot of great quotes and things in this one. One of the philosophies that I want to speak about is understanding, recognize the good things. Now this is about understanding how often so many people focus on the negatives and miss just how many positives there are. It's a great example is that person wakes up, they go to make coffee, their kettle's broken. They're going to have a shower, the hot water system's broken as well. They then, they go to put on their clothes and they realise that none of their clothes have been ironed. Then they get to work, then, for whatever reason, another mishap has happened, and basically the rest of the day is spent with all these negative things happening because you're focusing on them, right? When you might think but how could I not be focusing on them if they're happening to me? Because in and around those times that you realise that although the coffee machine might have been broken, there was breakfast ready and made for you on the table. Although your shirts weren't ironed, your shoes were polished. Although they're when you got to work and there was more things happening, there was also all these other great things happening for you as well. You might have got a pay rise, you might have got, a few more benefits and extras here. On the way home, you realise that you got green lights the whole way home. Absolutely no traffic. All those positives were missed because you were focusing on the negatives. And it's about recognising those good things. How often do we go through life just focusing on highlighting all the negatives that happen and missing out all the positives that are there and things to be grateful for? You think about if you painted the whole picture of your day or your week, understanding just how many positive things there actually were that you overlooked because you're too busy being focused on all the negatives that were happening. So what this talks about, or what I want to talk about, is a philosophy of understanding that take the time to recognize the positives in life. Really highlight them, embrace them, and take them in, because there's a lot more than what we realize. And when we can learn to be more grateful for things, more appreciative of things, we can live a more fulfilled and happy life. Which brings me to the next part, is about living in the present. See, it's about being focused on the now. This is being more in the moment. Too many of us sort of mull over the past and worry about the future, and there's not enough enjoyment of the present that's happening right now. See, too many people think about all the mistakes and things and the regrets and things that they're remorseful for things that have happened in the past. And on the other side, they're too worried about all the things that could be possibly happening in the future and their concerns and uncertainty of certain things that might be happening. And they're missing right now the present and all the great things that are happening. For example, if you had your birthday there, you had your birthday, that's happening in the present, but you're worried about yesterday how you forgot to put on your washing, and that meant today just meant you're a bit more rushed. You can't focus on thinking about all that, how if you just woken up a bit earlier and you wouldn't have been in a rush and things would have been better today. Worrying about mulling over those things in the past. And then you think about what happens after this birthday tomorrow. I've got to get back to work and there's going to be all this. I should have spent more time today doing that instead of doing this one. And does that mean I'm going to fall behind on things? Again, worrying about the future and missing the present. What's happening right now and enjoying this moment. Too focused on both the past and the future means that you're robbing yourself of the enjoyment and fulfillment that you could be experiencing right now because you're living in the present. Too many of us do that. We're constantly always thinking about what could go wrong or what has already gone wrong, and not enough focus on that what's going right right now. So the other thing that I want to talk about there, the other philosophy is that understand that life is interesting when you have a dream. When you have a purpose or something you're working towards, it gives you a lot more meaning. It means that the mundaneness, the repetitiveness of doing the same thing Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it means you're working towards something. You're not just existing. When you have a dream, when you have a goal, when you have something that you want to work towards, something that you want to achieve, you want to make happen, you then, when you wake up in the morning, you're not just waking up just to finish the day just so you can go to sleep again and do it again tomorrow. You're waking up because you're going to achieve something in moving on the path towards your goal. You're going to make progress towards your goal of whatever it is you're looking to achieve. Then when you go to sleep, you're sleeping so you can have the energy to make more progress tomorrow towards your goal. You're not just sleeping because it's 8 in the night, I'm just going to do the same thing tomorrow. And wake up and I'm just going to get through the day so that I can get home and go to sleep and, do the same thing again the next day. When you have a goal or a dream, it's like waiting for Christmas. It's like it's only one more day and you're sitting there and you're waiting and you're hoping for it and you're like, I'm going to go to sleep now so tomorrow I can be awake, ready for Christmas and open my presents. You're working towards something. Otherwise, life can become, quite mundane, quite boring without having that purpose, without having that reason to get up. Because eventually people get to that point where it's like, well, what's the point of me getting up if I'm just going to go back to bed again? It's like I'm just going to go to sleep and try and do this again tomorrow. When you have that mentality, you can see how depressing and how you can fall into such a sort of a pit of despair. So life becomes more interesting when you have a goal, when you have a dream that you can work towards and when you give yourself purpose. The other one there is, but then also understanding that everyone learns differently. So how you do something and how I do something could be completely different. Understanding that the different ways that people learn, there's different categories to it as well. It's not so straightforward that some people might learn listening, but they might learn better listening in solitary than they do in a group. So it's understanding that just the specifics of it all, and all the major categories then broken down to more specific categories to work out and understand the best way that you learn and understand things. So the idea or understanding behind that one is that when you can learn differently, you can understand why things haven't been working for you and why other things have been working for you. You can capitalize on it and then take the right steps to make sure you're maximizing that. Then you can use that information there to help you achieve your dream better, because often on the journey there you might need to learn new things. And if you know how you learn, you can learn more effectively, more quickly and more thoroughly. Which brings to the next part that I want to talk about there. It's about understanding that when you're learning, you're becoming better than who you are. You need to really make a focus on that. It's about the philosophy of understanding that there needs to be a commitment to personal development, to personal growth, to personal refinement. It's not saying that what you are now isn't good. It's just become about being better. It's about growing to your full potential. It's that if you see whatever it may be, let's say it's you see there's a tree there and it's grown, it's a considerable size. It could stop there, or it could grow bigger, it could grow better, it could reach its full potential. It realized, it might be 2 stories high, but it might have the potential to reach 10. And by just stopping there, it's almost being limited. So by focusing on becoming better, becoming better than who you are, you then give yourself purpose in another sense on refining and growing and developing yourself further. Then there's the other thing that I'll talk about that never think about what you left behind. Don't focus on all those regrets and all those things that have happened that you have no control over anymore. All the things that it's well, if I just done that differently, if I hadn't made that mistake, or those things are done. It barely serves you at all to think about them and mull over them and basically stew on these old mistakes that you've made, or blunders, or bad decisions, or things that you didn't realize that were a bad decision at the time but turned out to be. It serves very little to you to spend time on those ones. What you really should be spending time on is enjoying the present and preparing for the future. So to summarize quickly, we explained about how this is all about understanding the universe will work with you if you let it. Basically, when you decide you want something, the universe will conspire to help you get it. So part of that is understanding you've got to recognize the good things. Identify the positives in life and focus on them. You need to live in the present, not mull on the past or worry about the future. And understand that life becomes so much more interesting when you have a dream. You have purpose. You have reason to not just exist, but to make progress to creating something or achieving something. Understand that everyone learns differently. Understanding your learning style will help you to be more effective in anything that you're doing. And it'll also remove a lot of frustration because you'll have a better understanding of you're not unintelligent. You're just learning in a way that's not as effective for you. And when you can understand that, all of a sudden you're then feeling a lot more success because you'll be learning in the way that works for you. Then understanding that like you've got to become better than you are. You have to have a focus on that, a focus on personal refinement, on personal development, on personal growth. And then lastly, it's about don't think about what you've left behind. Don't focus on past regrets. Don't focus on past mistakes. Don't focus on things that you can't change anymore. Focus on the present and the future and what you can change. Control the controllables. By following all of this one, you'll understand all the philosophy they had in The Alchemist. Now, we'll be making a lot more of these videos to help you with your training and your personal development goals. But that's all for now though. So until next time, leave a comment below on what you like the most and look forward to sharing more with you in the next episode of Harry's Highlights.